It's been a busy offseason in Major League Pickleball. Who's on what team? We've got the answers.
And I'll tell you which 4 teams I think are making it all the way to the final rounds of the playoffs.
And we'll get you all set up for the season's first event in Orlando. Who will start off the season strong? All that coming up next on Inside Major League Pickleball. Welcome to a season preview edition of Inside Major League Pickleball, your stop for all things MLP. I'm Will Doughton, joined by 3-time MLP champion general manager Dave Fleming. Dave, we are so close to the season. What are you most looking forward to about 2025 Major League Pickleball?
First of all, I'm fired up. And second of all, it's all the new players and new places. We're going to talk about all that. Will we get the chalk back of the teams that didn't have changes, or will these new teams be able to find that chemistry? I can't wait to find out.
Speaking of new, Dave, we do have a new rule reminder. One of the biggest changes coming to Major League Pickleball in 2025. We have no more rally scoring in doubles. It's going to change to side-out scoring. That's what the players are used to on the PPA side. But of course, we are keeping rally scoring in the Dream Breakers. So be on the lookout for that. Every single doubles match, just 1 game to 11, win by 2, side-out scoring. Cannot wait to see how that's going to impact the play. Could have an impact on some results as well, Dave. But we're going to get to first see that at MLP Orlando. That's the first event of the season, first of 10 regular season events as a part of this summer schedule. In addition to those events, we'll have the mid-season tournaments up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and 2 playoff rounds in San Diego and New York. Dave, Major League Pickleball, it's going all across the country.
Yeah, I love it. And each of those events is being hosted by one of the teams. That's new this year, which I think is great. So, Squeeze Nation, you better start out and represent for us, because I know you're out there. And I love that we're back in Grand Rapids. Again, there was a big win for the New Jersey Fives there last year. The Grand Rapids community is phenomenal in their support of pickleball. And then West Coast first rounds of the playoffs, and then Central Park to Classic. Oh man, come on. That's where we're going to have the confetti matches. I can't wait.
And the first of those 10 regular season events taking place next week in the Sunshine State, Dave. It's MLP Orlando, April 24th through the 27th at the USTA National Campus. All 16 teams at the premier level will be in action. Going to start off the season with some electric pickleball in Central Florida, and we're going to take you through all 16 of those premier level teams, looking at the rosters. We'll give our takes on what their seasons could look like, starting off with the 2024 premier level champions, the Dallas Flash. Taking a look at their roster, we've got J.W. Johnson, Augie Guh, Georgia Johnson, and Tyra Black, with Wyatt Stone and Tatiana Rule on the bench. Dave, the biggest question here, can Dallas double down and go back-to-back?
You're darn right they can. Yes, they can, and here's why, Will. First of all, they have the chemistry. They've won it. The mountains of confetti rain down on them in Orlando, so it's fun that we're starting where we ended last year. So I think that's big, knowing that you can win. They had a big decision to make. Do we bring Augie back? Because they had to cut one player. They chose to cut Augie, and I couldn't agree more. And they were able to get him back. Gladiator Guh is the one of the 4 that needs to show that his level is rising, because Tyra has been all over the podium, including golds in women's doubles, and she and Georgia just pulled the upset of the century. So those two together, J-Dub's playing fabulous. Plus, they have the Flash Mob. They're going to have a home event in Dallas this year. This team is going to be a handful.
Dave Fleming, all in on the Dallas Flash. There's no other way I could put it. Let's take a look at who they beat in the final to have that confetti rain down on them. The New Jersey Fives. Taking a look at the roster, Will Howells, Zane Navratil, Annalie Waters, and Megan Dizon, of course, with Craig Johnson and Krista Getcheva on the bench. One thing to note here, Dave, Will Howells, we haven't seen him on the PPA tour or competing against these types of players since that MLP Orlando since that final. So one of the big storylines for New Jersey is how much has he improved along with the rest of the team. So I'm excited. I think he's going to be super amped coming out for that first match to prove that, you know, he is one of the top guys in all of pickleball.
Yeah, they've got Annalie Waters, obviously, as well, so she will certainly help. He doesn't have to ease in. He's going to be fired right in there playing mixed next to her, and that'll be very interesting.
And let's talk about Megan Dazan. Of course, they dropped or traded Mari Humberg to the Brooklyn Aces. Then they took Jeannie Bouchard in free agency, trade Bouchard to Megan Dazan. Dave, you've won championships with Megan Dazan. How do you think she's going to fit in with this team and playing women's doubles with Annalie Waters specifically?
Yeah, I think she's the wild card for this team. And I think she's had sort of a roller coaster last 12 months. She's certainly played better in 2025, so that's good news for the fives. But there's just different when you're standing next to Annalie Waters. When the fives, yeah, go ahead, there you go. You're going to be counting up to 5. But you're going to get the ball a lot. You're going to be in this cauldron. How does she do? I think this is a great opportunity for her to show, oh, I can handle this, and I'm going to be the reason why we win.
And of course, last year they put Mari Humberg on the left. Now Annalie Waters is going to be playing the left. Megan Dazan can play both sides, but she's more than happy to stay on the right. So we'll see if Waters is perhaps a little bit more comfortable playing the left, where she was playing the right more of last year as well.
Yeah, and I think the point you made, just so everybody gets the other part of the difference in the scoring, is last year when you played the left unless you chose to switch, and then you only played that side. So now it'll be what you play at home, everybody. Side out scoring, as you mentioned before. So there's going to be unwinding the stack. We haven't had that. There's going to be let's switch sides because we don't like what's going on. So that's going to be interesting.
And so looking back to the third place finisher in the playoffs, St. Louis Shock, taking a look at their roster. It's Anna Bright, Kate Fahey, Hayden Patrick-Wynn, and Gabe Tardio, with Eric Lang and Felicity DeLaura on the bench for them. Dave, I got to say, I am super high on the Shock. I think most people were very high on St. Louis with how good they were last year, but Anna Bright's only gotten better. Hayden Patrick-Wynn, Gabe Tardio, they just continue to dominate the men's doubles scene. You see them on Championship Sunday. It feels like every single week. But Kate Fahey, for me, is the X factor. We saw what she can do in singles in 2024, but she has really shown the improvement in doubles to start off this season. Took home her first career doubles medal with Dylan Frazier in Tucson in mixed, so that's got to give her some confidence playing with Gabe Tardio for the Shock. She and Tina Pisnik have had some great runs recently in women's doubles. So if there is a team in that upper tier of the premier level that I think has improved the most from last year, for me, it's St. Louis, and there was not a whole lot more they could have done to improve. Well, how do you think they fare?
I think they fare well. Obviously, they had to make a decision much like Dallas did. Do we want to run it back? And they went for the most run it back certainty of anybody as they bid till they had the first pick in the free agency draft. Each team had to drop a player. They had 4 great ones. So Kate knew that her status was hanging in the balance, and she was actually at that Necker Island retreat seeing what would happen with this. So I agree completely that her level has gone up in doubles impressively. And just having played with Anna Bright and the ferocity and the intensity, that matters. So you got a year of that under your belt. You got 2 teenagers wrecking everybody in men's doubles on the PPA Tour. They are going to be an absolute handful, and they have one of the best support groups from the ownership standpoint. So you don't have to worry about just doing it yourself. You got this team around you. That is also potentially a negative because you have the team around you, but because they have the best captain in all of MLP and Anna Bright, I think they will be more than just fine. They are going to be at the top of the standings without question.
Would not be shocked to see them in the playoffs. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Dave, let's return to the Lone Star State. Go down to Austin, look at the Texas Ranchers. Looking at their roster, they've got Christian Alshon, Eric Onsens, Eda Tuio-Natoa, and Tina Pisnik, of course, with Michael Lloyd and Helena Jansen on the bench for them. There was a big trade a few months ago, Dave, where they took Noah Cliff in free agency. They sent him to Miami to get Eric Onsens. Onsens has had a great set of results recently. We'll talk about some tense moments potentially with Christian Alshon, but talk me through that trade, Dave. Do you like it? Do you not like it? How do you think it sets them up for 2025?
What's wild about that is the other side, because they've had both players in Miami. They've had Eric and Noe. And a lot of people, when this trade was made, thought, wow, Miami just got Noe. He's had more results than Eric had at that moment. And wow, look at Miami. They knew the players better than anybody, and they got the one of the two they wanted. And then Onsens season happened, baby. Played great here in Dallas with Alex Trung in mixed, and then was absolutely electric in men's doubles in North Carolina. So this guy is showing us this crazy upside, and he's so young. He hasn't played against the top players a lot yet, so he's going to get that experience. And Noe seems like you're going to have a higher floor with him, but is the ceiling the same? I'm not sure that it is. He's still very good, so it's not like this is a lopsided trade at all. It's Texas bet on this ferocious flying athlete, and he started to show glimpses of what that could mean. However, how is the chemistry?
Well, so obviously the season hasn't started yet, but when Eric and Christian faced off in North Carolina, men's doubles quarterfinal, I believe, there was tight match. Eric Onsens, Dylan Frazier came back in game 3 to win it over Christian Alshon and Andre Diescu. Yeah. Eric Onsens loses it when he wins. It's a full college tennis celebration, throws the paddle open and wants to embrace the crowd. Takes a little while to get up to the net for the post-match handshake. Christian Alshon did not like that, flipped him a little bird.
Yeah, told him he was number one.
Yeah. So, and look, both of these guys, they've played college tennis.
Of course.
They want to win, I would say, I mean, in having interviewed Christian many times, he is one of the most competitive people on the planet, and I'm sure you see Eric is as well. I think they're going to be fine, but that did raise some questions in the immediate aftermath of that match, which was an epic match, by the way. Go watch it if you haven't.
Couldn't agree more. Ryan DeWidgeon, this is what general managers, I stepped away, my choice, so I could focus on commentary. But this is one of the things that you don't see. It's the off-the-court stuff. It's the personalities. It's team first. Name on the front of the jersey, not the back. I think they're going to be fine, just to be clear here. But we've seen that. Christian also lost in that mixed doubles situation that I talked about with Alex Trung to Eric. Eric's going to want to show that he is the alpha. Can you have two lions? I think that's what Texas is betting on. And it's that emotion that goes with it. You mentioned college tennis, which is a great analogy for what Major League Pickleball is often like. Noe's a much more chill level, which there's nothing wrong with that. A very chill team in Dallas won it, so that has been proven. But you want all the pomp and circumstance. Don't miss a Texas Ranchers match. It's going to be fabulous.
And you certainly got the energy with when you get Eric Onsens, right? I think certainly an upside pickup for them, and we're seeing it at least in the short term in the PPA side, certainly paying off for the Ranchers. We'll see if that continues once we actually get underway with the season. But let's venture over to the nation's capital, the DC Pickleball Team, the team that Texas actually beat in the first round of the playoffs last year. Taking a look at their roster, we've got Deckel Barr, Riley Newman, Rachel Rohrbacher, and Jackie Kawamoto. Dave, I think the strength of this team is its women's doubles. Nothing against Deckel and Riley, great players in their own right, but you tell me you get Rachel Rohrbacher and Jackie Kawamoto on the same side of the net, that is a scary duo.
It really is. I want to see how well they just gel together, but Jackie Kawamoto is special, and you saw the Kawamoto sisters have a great run in women's doubles on the PPA Tour recently, so that's big, that there's just confidence from that. In fact, Jackie beat Rachel, and in the last match ever of the girlies, they lost. So there's two parts of that. Number one, that's good news for Jackie. So DC is like, how do I feel about this?
Right, exactly.
And then on the other side is Rachel Rohrbacher thought, hey, we've got a clothing line. Me and Anna Bright are going to be it. We're going to have another wild photo shoot. Lots and lots of gear. The girlies everywhere. Boom. one fell swoop. She is sort of ancillary to the original thing, but oh so part of it, because when Annalise says no more to Catherine and picks Anna Bright, then obviously Rachel has nowhere to play. So this is a sort of, Rachel, where are you at? Are you one of the top 3 or 4? Your talent certainly has shown us that you are. Now what do you do when on the PPA side she's going to have to lead it, but here she's got to be it. And she and Jackie are going to win a lot of matches together. I want to see how well she gels with Mick. She's played some with Deckel. I would expect that to continue, but maybe not. So Rachel Rohrabacher Revenge Tour. Here we go. The opportunity is there.
And you talked about Jackie as well. She did play on the DC Pickleball team back in 2023. A very strong team. So did Riley Newman. So I think we're going to see Riley and Jackie run it back in mixed. They have had some great results on the PPA side as well. So Rachel Rohrabacher Revenge Tour. Are we going to see it? We could. Also got to mention the 2 bench players for DC, Pat Smith and Hannah Blatt. A lot of veteran experience with Pat Smith as well. So we'll see if that plays a role, having these 5th and 6th roster spots on these teams. We'll see how that manifests itself throughout the season as well. Now let's go to one of the most controversial teams based off of the offseason that they had. Going up to the Big Apple, the New York Hustlers. Let's take a look at the roster. Zane Ford, Donald Young, Lingwei Kong, and Helena Spiritus. Of course, with Stephen Madonia and Dominique Schaefer on the bench. Dave, this team got rid of its entire 2024 roster ahead of free agency, and now they've got 4 players they took in the draft. What are this team's prospects? How do you think they're going about building the Hustlers of the future?
Well, they're going to struggle, is what I think. You have players with a lot of potential, but potential in a while, not potential immediately, and I think that's the difference here. We've loved some of what we've seen from Zane Ford. I mean, this kid is rocking the ball from all over. Shout out to the 412 in Pittsburgh. That's where he's from. And him plus Donald Young is going to have so many ranges of outcomes, it's not going to be funny. They're going to be on and probably upset one of the better men's teams in MLP, and then they're going to get just wrecked 3 or 4 times because a more controlled teams that can handle pace without any problem are just not going to be impressed with the things that they do well. And then their ladies are all in the I need to see more camp, especially in doubles. Dom Schaefer certainly has done some things in singles, and I would expect her to be in the lineup a bunch. This is going to be a let's figure out what we're going to do here, and availability is often always part of that too. But when you talk about some of the teams we've talked about, and then you talk about this one, it is a significant gap. 10 of the 16 teams make the playoffs. Maybe they can scrap with the ones at the bottom and get in the mix, but we started out this show discussing the 6 playoff teams from last year. This was one of them. They have taken a wild step back for me.
And I don't disagree with that, Dave. I mean, it's a rebuild, right? You see it in other sports. You just hope that this rebuild for New York doesn't last as long as it has for the Cleveland Browns, for example.
You can rip on the Browns here, and
that's
I'm
I know,
perfectly
big Steelers
yes.
guy. But no, and all credit to the potential, right?
Yeah.
Especially of Zane Ford. We know what he can do in singles. He's had some huge wins in doubles as well. Him and James Delgado beat Pablo Tejas and Kwang Duong just a few tournaments ago. Those are, I mean, in my opinion, Pablo on a challenger roster, but certainly a premier level player.
100%.
And so that's a big win. So wins like that are going to give him more confidence, as I think this is a chance for him to be the face of this New York franchise with how young he is, not only age-wise, but also in his career in the sport.
100%, and it's how you want to build a team. So they made a lot of moves that absolutely rang the register in the bank accounts, and there's nothing wrong with that either. That's what they chose to do. We'll see how it plays out on the 20x44. I think it's going to be a struggle at the first half of the year till they figure this out, but they made choices. Let's see what happens.
And our eyes will certainly be on the Hustlers, especially this first half of the season. Let's go back down south to the Atlanta Bouncers, are the first of 4 challenger-level teams that were promoted up to Premier in 2025. Let's take a look at the roster. We've got Jaume Martinez-Vic, Todd Fote, Vivian Glosman and Victoria DiMuzio. And we've got Sam Query and Rachel Retker on the bench for the Bouncers. I think a big X factor here, Dave, is going to be Victoria DiMuzio. We haven't seen her a ton. She has played some tournaments, had partners like Callie Smith, Vivian David. Those are premier level players and has had some good results, but do you think she's going to be able to hold up at the premier level?
I mean, that is the number one question here for the Bouncers, because she, without a lot of results, became the it girl for some people, and everybody's like, ooh, she's going to be a hot commodity in the draft. She is going to be the next top 5 to 10 player. I haven't seen that yet. I'm not saying it's not there yet. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on her. We have seen Todd and Jaume play some very solid ball. They were at the top of Challenger for sure. Now they're going to be playing all Premier men's doubles team, so we'll see how that goes. I've loved Jaume for the most part in 2025. I've seen more intensity from him. He's a great personality to have with your team. They've also got Sam Query hiding back there. So from a marketing standpoint, I love that pickup. We're thrilled the big fella is back and healthy again. But the Canadian DiMuzio is the key to this whole operation. We'll see if she can, because if she is the new thing and shows that by the end of the year, it's not just for this year. And I think a lot of people fall into that. Well, you didn't do it, and yeah, but we're trying to be amazing in 2026.
Right.
Okay. Then maybe you are, and Victoria is why. And on this show next year, we talk about what she did.
And that's a great point. You know, maybe not the team of 2025. It certainly could be, but for 2026 and beyond, that's what a lot of these GMs are building their rosters for, the longevity, as we know that MLP is going to continue, those seasons, and it's only going to continue to become bigger. So cannot wait for that. Another thing to talk about with Atlanta, Vivian Glosman had a busy offseason, though. She started on DC.
Did she ever?
Then she goes to the Hustlers. Now she's in Atlanta. Not only the geography, all the changes there, but also just, a new outlook on partners as well. I mean, she and Lacey Schneeman won gold in Australia. So she has established herself as a top-tier women's doubles player, and she's going to have a pretty big responsibility of trying to kind of help Victoria adjust, because premier level competition, especially on the women's side, is no joke. Yeah. It is tough.
And what I've liked from Viv is she gives the top players trouble because of her size. Everybody asks me, who's going to beat Anna Leigh Waters? Well, it's somebody who's bigger than Anna Leigh Waters. And Glosman certainly has that. So when she's taking balls out of the air that the top players are used to bouncing, that is a problem. She is not the fireball personality, so that's what I'm going to watch with her, but the talent is outrageously good, her.
Well, Dave, let's go back to a team you're very familiar with, the Carolina Hogs. No longer the Carolina Pickleball Club, but we've got the Hogs now in the Tar Heel State. Taking a look at that roster, Ben Johns, Colin Johns, Tammy Emmerich, and Caitlin Christian, with Brandon French and Liz Trulock on the bench. Big question here, how are Ben and Colin going to do? Huge storyline was they split after the Masters in 2025. Now they're back together, whether they like it or not. How do you envision that going?
I think they like it. We'll see. They both had less than stellar results in some editions of MLP. Ben has also won it a bunch. So that is the big question for me, is because it's this tight window, they haven't had the pressure of carrying the PPA crown and not having the results. Ben and Gabe Tardio have been fantastic together. I've seen a new Ben on the court playing with Gabe. So can he bring some of that spunk, literally? He's been tapping paddles, dear heaven, what is going on, Ben? And just more into it. Now, he was winning everything when he wasn't like showing this outward emotion, but I think the fans are feeding off of that as well. So can he get that going with his brother? KK has been playing a lot better, that being Caitlin Christian in doubles. We know her singles is fantastic. So they traded out Brooke Buckner, and if Ben is consistently winning his 2 matches, without Brooke there, that's going to be harder in a dream breaker. Nothing to take away. Tammy Emmerich is going to have a lot of pressure on her plate, but not the same singles player as Brooke Buckner. So Liz Trulock, who has had some singles results, will she get an opportunity down the road somewhere. And just so everyone understands, when we've talked about the benches, what does that mean? So you have an extra male and female on your roster. You can't switch them out in the middle of an individual match, in fact, in a day, but you can at a specific event or an event coming up, put in those players, and we'll talk about that more. But I think there's been a lot of confusion as to what you can do, so I just wanted everyone to understand that.
An important explanation there, Dave. And honestly, I'm just excited to see Ben and Colin just be on the court. I mean, it's been a few months, and the last time they did it, they won gold in Palm Springs. Yeah. And so who knows? Maybe they'll be holding the Pritchard Cup at the end of the MLP 2025 season.
I mean, Ben is good enough where that can happen, and it's all about Pickleball. That's their thing. Wow. Here we go.
That little drum roll for that.
Yeah,
little applause.
That's there. The Hogs are ready.
That is amazing. let's just go to Chicago.
Yes,
look at the Chicago slice, the second one of the challenger level teams to get promoted. They lost in the final of the playoffs last year. Let's look at their roster. Got James Ignatowicz, Max Freeman, Callie Smith, and Vivian David, of course, on the bench. Carlos Delore and Pierina Imparata. I like this team a lot. I liked them last year. They started off slowly in Challenger. They go back and they fall in the final, make the playoffs. And this kind of represents a dichotomy, right? You've got the New York Hustlers, who we talked about earlier, on one side. You've got the Chicago Slice, who also went into free agency with no teams. They did shell out some serious cash to build a competitive roster, but just how competitive it's going to be, Dave, that has yet to be seen. But James Ignatowicz has certainly shown signs of life recently after a down 2024, was battling injuries. But there was one match in Red Rock a few weeks ago where he and Tyra Black played out of their minds. That is the best I've seen James Ignatowicz play in probably a year. And so if he's able to bring that consistently to Chicago, they can do some real damage. What are your thoughts?
I couldn't agree more. So Chicago started no players. They weren't allowed to keep anybody. Goodbye to all of them. And they had the same choice, and they did invest the money. And Jimmy is playing way better, mixed especially. So what we saw last year, and we were expecting, man, him and Deck will get going with DC, and it just never, there'd be flashes, certainly, with those two talented guys. But him plus the lefty Max Freeman, they've got that Commodore connection from Vandy. I think this is a wildly good choice to put them with the two ladies who are so solid. They could go from zero to hero here and get into the top four, and they might just do it. So I can't wait to see it. There are chemistry questions. There are how well does Jimmy lead the team, which I think he's more than capable of. This is going to be a very fun team to watch. But I love that they looked at, wait, there's no one left, and said, we're going for it. And they did a great job in the free agency draft.
And I think getting Max Freeman as well, still somewhat of an unproven commodity in doubles, but has had some good singles results. And of course, he and James train together all the time down in Florida. So no issue with chemistry there. It's really going to be about dialing in the correct mixed doubles pairings for that. So excited to see what the Slice are able to do. Let's slide on up to Ohio. Looking at the Columbus Sliders. Excited about this roster. It's Andre Diescu, CJ Klinger, Paris Todd, and Leah Jansen. And you've got Roscoe Bellamy and Marcella Hones on the bench. Dave, I think there's an argument for Columbus having the best offseason out of the teams that missed the playoffs in 2024. I mean, it's almost a completely revamped roster. Paris Todd is the only starter who was on that squad in their last regular season match in 2024. Now you just go out and get Andre and CJ, who have won a PPA title together at the very end of 2024, and Leah Jansen, who's been playing great ball, especially on the singles court, but she's always been so solid in doubles. I mean, just from a team that was near the bottom of the standings to a team that could very easily make it into that top four. We could be seeing them play in New York. I am so impressed with what Columbus has done in the offseason. And they're probably the team I'm the most excited to watch coming out of the gate.
And I couldn't agree with you more. Like, when you look at a team that was just, they were in misery at the end of last year. They had Riley Newman on there, just couldn't find the chemistry, because when Riley's going, he is a great member of your MLP team. He's won, as we mentioned before, with DC, and he gets everybody into it, and it just didn't work. They'd made trades, it wasn't working. And then this offseason, they've made trades, and it looks amazing on paper. So they are absolutely a team that I also have my eye on. Paris Todd, man, there's something about Paris in the spring. She has been remarkable in all 3 divisions. She's walking out with medals. She had the Neapolitan, as I call it, a gold, silver, bronze event. So she's playing great. The guys are going to be wonderful. CJ Klinger has been money in MLP in all of his short lifespan here. And Andre is just the best partner for everybody. So look out for them.
And it's going to be interesting as well. Can they crack that top 4, right? We know Dallas, New Jersey, St. Louis, Texas, DC's revamped this year as well. So, I think they're a playoff team for sure at this point. But can they really go further than that? That's yet to be seen. Yep. And they're also betting on, Paris and CJ and really all 4 players to continue raising their level, which I think is a very reasonable expectation. So excited to watch the Columbus Sliders this season. I think it's going to be a good one up in Ohio. We've also got an event up there. Can't wait for that. But let's move out west. Our first California team of the show, looking at the LA Mad Drops. That roster, Hunter Johnson, Kwang Duong, Catherine Parento, and Jade Kawamoto, with Wes Burrows and Angie Walker on the bench. Thomas Wilson, of course, on IR. We wish him all the best. It's been great to have him doing commentary amidst his health struggles. So glad he's still involved with that team. But, Catherine Parento is, we talked about the news with Annalie Waters and her splitting up. Do you think that, she's been so good for so long, right? And she's been so solid. Do you think this puts a chip on her shoulder, or is she just going to continue on business as usual?
I think she'd call it business as usual, and it is not, okay? So this is her first opportunity to jump in there, and she gonna play against Annalie Waters, teaser for later, and that one is going to have extra special meaning to it for them. Athena, her wife, is the coach of this team as well, and don't think she isn't a part of this, because we'd always see Lee Waters with Athena coaching, everyone's happy. Then they get beat by the 2 Dallas Flash ladies, and then it breaks up. It's all the rage, it's the soap opera. And it's not a PPA that's next, it's MLP. So Catherine has a good team, and she and Jade played very well. So that is a very good team. So Catherine and Jade versus Anna Lee and Megan Dazan is going to be wild for so many reasons. And then the rest of the Mad Drops are just going to be absolutely destroying the ball. They're one of the best Dream Breaker teams. So I can't wait to see, does the rest of the group sort of rally around? This is where we get out of the individual part of it and say, hey, Catherine, we got you here. All of us want to see you win. And they're going to be going bonkers during that match against the Fives. I can't wait.
And, of course, you mentioned Athena. Catherine's wife was promoted to GM as well recently, so just a huge accomplishment for her. Love to see that for the Mad Drops as well. We're on the West Coast. Now we're going to the East Coast. Orlando Squeeze, the first host of an MLP event during 2025. Looking at their roster, Federico Saxrud, Dylan Fraser, Lacey Schneeman, and Samantha Parker, with Tom Evans, the Australian star, and Allison Phillips on the bench for the Squeeze. We've seen this theme come up a few times, Dave, with kind of one player being the X factor, right? And I think we see that clearly here with Samantha Parker. We know Fed, Dylan, and Lacey, all upper tier players in really every division. We know they're going to be solid. So how is Samantha Parker going to fit in with this team? She's had some great runs in singles and is getting there in doubles, hasn't quite had the results yet. But how do you think she could fit into this team?
Yeah, the pressure on that woman is immense because Fed, Dylan, as you mentioned, and Lacey is playing better and better, and I love the aggressiveness I'm seeing from her, more reliable. So what Lacey has done is she's brought the floor up, still has the ceiling to go with it. So that is big for her, one of the most athletic players we have on tour. So what I want to see is, can Lacey take that Samantha Parker and bring her up with her? Because the way a lot of these teams go is it's the gender doubles that get the other one going. So that's where Lacey can really help Samantha before the mixed doubles gets going, where then she's playing with a terrific player. This is opportunity, Sam. What are you going to do with it? Because those aren't partners she's getting on her own for the PPA yet. She hasn't made the way into the Cool Kids Club. She was picked into the Cool Kids Club in MLP, brought to you now, title sponsor DoorDash, welcome. So I can't wait to see how she does. This is her opportunity. Are they going to be patient? I think they will be, but not only is she in there, she's playing in front of the Squeeze Nation at the very first event. So she knows it's coming. She's practicing hard. How does she play? We'll see.
And you talk about the Cool Kids Club, Dave. I mean, we got to look at Phoenix as well when you're talking about that. I mean, boy, do they have some big names. Looking at the Phoenix Flames out in Arizona, we've got Jack Sock, Tyson McGuffin, Jesse Irvin, and Jeannie Bouchard. On the bench for them, Pesa Tioni and Alex Walker. Just a wild offseason for Phoenix. I mean, they go from having Andre Diascu and Megan Dazan with Tyson and Jesse. Now they go and get Jack Sock and Jeannie Bouchard. I mean, two of the biggest tennis stars that we have, globally. Yeah. Now that they're playing pickleball, and it's interesting, right? Because I think that team with Andre and Megan, certainly a playoff team, could potentially do more. Now, with where Jack and Jeannie are, that's just not true anymore. Maybe they make a push to the playoffs, but that's probably as far as they get. But you talk about different ways to build a team, and that is some serious marketing prowess with Jack and Jeannie. What are your thoughts on that, Dave?
I mean, that's the choice. And not only, okay, so we have a new name out there. We have new ownership. So the gang that is Proton is now there, Charles Darling and the rest of the crew there. And they traded out one of the Proton guys, the face. And I think what they said is, it's great for us, for Andre to play somewhere else, because you get that. So this is a marketing-focused start here. Jeannie Bouchard signed with Proton, so they've got that going on. They are in Asia as we tape this, where they are spreading the word of pickleball with their squad, and you can't have more marketability than this. Tyson was the first athlete in pickleball that figured out, I need to establish my brand, and now he is a household name there. Jack and Jeannie, I don't need to talk about them for that. Jesse Irvin, again, one of the most familiar and marketable faces here. So how does this all work out? I think Jack and Jeannie are going to play together. Tyson just keeps making quarters and semis on the PPA. So maybe they'll surprise us. These are players that are definitely full of potential. Jack Sock looks like the best player to ever play the game some of the time. It's the floors and then up and down. Where is it going to be? So this is the team I can't wait to watch, because it's going to be showtime. I think MLP suits these players very well. And what are the results going to be? I don't know. I think they're right on the bubble of the playoffs. But as far as people wanting to watch a team, they're going to be packed in around this team to see them. And it's fantastic for the sport. And
just cannot wait for that MLP event in Phoenix as well. That's pretty early on in the season. We'll get to that in a bit here as well. But yeah, I mean, that team is it's team tennis is what it is.
There you go.
And so cannot wait to see them in action. Let's go down to the 305, Dave. The Miami Pickleball Club. Looking at their roster, we talked about them earlier. Noe Cliff, Jay DeVilliers, Millie Rain, and Maya Bui. On the bench, Yuta Funamisu and Ava Ignatowicz. I mean, we talked about the trade from Texas's perspective. Now from Miami, they go get Noe, who was a waiver pickup by Miami and helped them kind of have a resurgence in their season to eventually win the Challenger title. And so Miami's got their guy. You're going to have Team France with him and Jay DeVilliers. And another example of kind of having three somewhat known commodities with another unknown commodity, and that's going to be Maya Bui here. Not super well known when she was drafted, but another Canadian here, Dave, and she played collegiate tennis in San Francisco as well, and actually almost had a huge upset victory over Deckelbar and Paris Todd in Red Rock, with none other than Eric Onsen. So we know that she can play. It's just going to be a matter of, how is she going to play with this team?
Yeah, she is another one of the taller ladies, so that is an advantage. I have seen her play, but not a lot because no one has. So I liked what I saw, though. I liked the potential here. So again, she's in that DiMuzio camp. Like, where are you going to be at the end of the year? And how do you deal with the pressure? And actually, I think Millie Rain's going to be fine. It's the other three here. So I think there's one that, I know what I'm going to get from Millie Rain, and it's pretty darn consistent. A lot of power. Can have some little bit of difference of outcome, but I like what she brings here. Jay DeVilliers wants to have some results and gets close and hasn't been there in the PPA. So speak French with Noé, Jay. Parlez-vous français? Well, Noé does, so do it. He and Noé have to find some chemistry quickly. Jay can be the energy guy. I think that's great for Noé because that is not his cup of tea. He just wants to play such solid ball. And then don't think Noé doesn't know what Eric Onsen's has been doing because everyone thought, Miami just got a steal in getting Noé. I'm going to be comparing it. You're going to be comparing it. How are those two playing in MLP? I love storylines like that.
And we know Miami is going to look to try and prove their dominance as Florida's team as well. We've got multiple teams in the Sunshine State, such a hotbed for pickleball. Love to have that. Let's go back out to California. SoCal Hard Eights. You see 5 players on the screen now. We'll take you through the roster. We'll explain why there are 5 up there right now. We've got Blaine Hovenier, Ryan Fu, Ivan Yakovlevich, Irina Terashenko, and Judith Castillo. Dave, why the heck do we have 5 people on the screen right now?
Because they don't know which 2 dudes are starting as we film this. And I think they were all drafted in about the same spot. They're actually practicing here in Dallas as a team. So they're getting together with most of the team. I don't think everybody's here, but they're trying to figure out where's the chemistry. You have Blaine and Yvonne who live here in Dallas, have played a lot together. Is that the way? I know Blaine and Ryan Fu are going to play a lot together. Is that the way, or is it Fu and Yvonne? And I think this one is going to be, let's try some of the patterns and figure out what works. Maybe these two, and it could be when you look at who you're playing the next day, day specific with this group. Hey, Blaine's had some good results against so-and-so. Let's run them out there. And then the ladies, Irina just wins MLP. She just does it. We haven't seen a lot of her playing pro pickleball, but she loves MLP.
And, not to forget about Judith Castillo as well, has played multiple MLP seasons, was on Las Vegas last year, had some good results with them. And then, of course, you've got Lauren Hidalgo-Smith on the bench for SoCal. Being with Irina and Judith could help her a lot, just kind of acclimate to MLP and what it's all about. So that's going to be a big opportunity for her. We'll see what your man Adam Stone can do out in Southern California. Excited for this team. And like you said, I think it's going to be more of a hot hand thing, at least for which 2 guys are going to start from match to match. So that's going to be a developing storyline as the season progresses. Cannot wait for that. Last but not least, alphabetically, we've got the Utah Black Diamonds. Taking a look at their roster, Connor Garnett, Tyler Loong, Elise Jones, and Jeannie Arakina. And we'll have Yates Johnson and Mavish Safdar on the bench for Utah. A tough season last year for Utah, but they did keep the best part of their squad, which was their men's doubles pairing. How do you think we could see Jeannie and Elise play?
I just love that they got a little veteran leadership in getting Elise. Alex Trunk played fine, another Utah for Utah switcheroo there. And Elise was down in, man, her energy is just screaming Premier MLP. I mean, come on. She's going to be diving everywhere. We love it, super mom. And so I think that's good. Even though Safdar was picked before Irakina, for me, I would be putting Irakina in there. Long, has MLP experience, has beaten some of the better players. So that is a perfect combination with Elise for me. We'll see what they decide to do. And then the fellas just played really well at the end of last year, have played some great matches in the PPA this year. Garnett and Leung seem to enjoy playing together, which is a big part of MLP. So Utah's got a chance. They're right on that bubble or below. 10 of the 16 make it. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, after last season, it would be quite the story for them to make it to the postseason as well. So we'll be watching for them as well. See if the Black Diamonds can find some jewelry, find some diamonds in the rough.
There you go.
As they say. I was looking for the pun. It wasn't really coming. But that is a look at all 16 Premier level teams. Let's break it down. We're only a few weeks removed from March Madness. Let's get into some MLP madness, some predictions. Top 4 teams. Who are going to be the 4 teams playing in that final playoff round in Central Park, Dave? We'll start with you.
I'm going from bottom to top. I'm putting Columbus in there. So slide into the 4 slot. I like what they did as we talked about. So they're there. I think Alshon and Onsens is going to work. I think the Ranchers are going to get back. They were there last year and pulled the upset of DC as we talked about. The Shock is probably on paper the team to beat. So they are in my 2 slot. And then how can you not love the team that won the confetti match? So Dallas Flash. So there's my 4. We'll see if that happens.
So we saw the Dallas pick coming. I've got to go. I'm going to go with DC. Maybe I just like alliteration, but I like the Rachel Rohrbacher's Revenge Tour. I'm just a big fan of that. So I'll go DC at 4. Give me Texas at 3. I like that team a lot. I will go Dallas at 2. Give me St. Louis. I'm so high on St. Louis right now. I just think with Kate Fahey, how she's developed her doubles game, and we talked about it earlier, that is a scary, every team we just talked about is scary. But I think St. Louis is, that's who I've got winning it all.
So neither one of us have Anna Lee or Ben in the Final 4. We'll see if we're eating this tape later on, but that's where we're at.
It's a little scary not having the 5s and I think they will be very good. I just think some of the new team layouts we'll see if they lead to some different results. We've gone through all 16 Premier level teams. Now let's take a look at the Challenger level teams. 6 teams competing in Challenger this season. And Dave, we really have 2 kind of preseason favorites, starting with the Las Vegas Night Owls. That's going to be Brooke Buckner, Zoe Wong, Pablo Tejas, and James Delgado. And then the Brooklyn Aces as well. Stefan Auvergne, Daniel De La Rosa, Andrea Koop, and Mari Humberg. I mean, both of these teams have players who have played at the Premier level before, and just a lot of veteran experience to go along with it. Who do you think comes, or do you think there's another team out of the ones we haven't talked about that could do some damage, or who do you think comes out on top?
I think it's the Night Owls, and I think they'd make the playoffs in Premier potentially. I mean, this is a very good team. You have Brooke Buckner traded down there from Carolina, so she and Zoe, that's her partner. I don't think, they may go undefeated. I think they very easily could. That's how good Zoe and Brooke are for me. And I just see the upside in Zoe. Brooke is going to be able to play looser with this team. I mean, all the teams make the playoffs. It's where your seeding is what matters. And then Pablo is just a terrific player. This is a guy that everyone wants to cheer for. He and one of those 2 ladies may also, I mean, their records in individual matches are going to be wildly in their favor. But when you're a big favorite, you don't always win. So that's what we're going to be looking at. But the Night Owls for me by far.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. I think Brooklyn, a very good team, but I just think with the MLP experience of Las Vegas, I mean, Pablo was playing Premier, Brooke was playing Premier, Zoe should be in Premier, and look, there are a lot of teams, a lot of players in Challenger who have cases to be in Premier right now, but I think just the combination of the Night Owls is so strong. Got Steve Deacon coaching them now. I mean, there's what not to like about Las Vegas. Let's go marquee matchups that we're looking out for in Orlando. And Sunday is going to be a huge day in this event, and we're going to tell you why. Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, it's the DC Pickleball Team taking on the St. Louis Shock. Rachel Rohrbacher taking on Anna Bright. Oh my gosh, Dave.
Yeah, and we've got a whole day of this. So we're going to do this one first. So girlies, RIP. And yeah, I mean, this is 2 of your Final 4, and I think DC's right outside of it for me, and they could certainly get there. Rachel plus Jackie versus Kate and AB, let alone all the dudes. I mean, it's this. I realize if you live on the West Coast, you have to get up at 8 a.m. to watch this, but you better set your clocks to do it.
I'd be up all night waiting. I wouldn't be able to sleep if I knew this match was happening.
Yes.
And we do know it's happening, so make sure you set your alarm clocks for it. After this match, we're going to have the New Jersey Fives taking on the LA Mad Drops. We teased this a little bit earlier. AL versus CP. And don't forget, I mean, Kwong and Hunter versus Will Howes and Zane Navratil, there's going to be some chirping in there as well. I mean, there's a lot on the line for the ladies, but it's going to have some chirps.
Oh, for sure. So, again, the visual of Anna Lee against Catherine is going to have the attention, and it should. And I want to see, is it intensity from Anna Lee to prove that this was the right thing? Is it intensity from Catherine? Is it from the benches? You know the Fives will be supporting AL Dub, so the Mad Drops are going to have to match that with their fans, with their bench. It's all of these things that are what make Major League Pickleball different than the PPA, and I like to see how teams manage all of that. And then, yeah, we both put both these teams outside the top four. Maybe they're good enough to sneak in there. We'll see. And with a tightened window of opportunity to win matches, 25 of them you're playing, get off to a good start and put this on the board and put some fear in the rest of the group. So I can't wait for this one.
And then we're going to end the event with arguably the best match of the entire event. We've got St. Louis taking on New Jersey. New partners, Anna Brighton, Anna Lee Waters, going head-to-head. They played back in 2023 together. They're going to play some in 2025, but now this is their chance to just remind everyone who's boss when they take the court together on the PPA side. I mean, and come on, Will Howes, Hayden Patrick, and Gabe Tardio, they're all buddies.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be chirping a lot, but they're all buddies. They're going to some serious bragging rights at stake here.
Yeah, so I think obviously the women's is going to be fantastic. Megan Dazan and Kate Fahey, welcome to the party. I know they will play well. The question is how well. And then I got my eye on Zane Navratil here too. He's had just tremendous play in MLP in this match of the fellas. How's that going to work? And then last year, he and Mari Humberg found a couple wins that were unexpected. How does he mesh with Megan Dazan? He'll play the left, but because it's side-out scoring. So there's a lot of those things we're going to learn, too, about how these new teams go. But this one is to head to the rest of the season going, hey, we took the big match. And that's what we're going to be doing this year. Saturdays and Sunday nights and some Fridays, the best matches to include the host and then the best match as it's seen across the board. So I cannot wait to be on the call for this one.
You are a lucky man, my friend. Cannot wait to end our first event with this match. Going to be absolutely electric. Where can we watch it, though, Dave? I'll let you take this one.
Well, come on, Pickleball TV. If you don't have the app yet, you've got to go get it because then you can take that everywhere you go. So get the app, all the DVR features, both courts here of Major League Pickleball. We'll have some FS1 as well. And throughout the year, we're going to have regional networks involved in this. So home area events are going to actually have their local sports networks showing Major League Pickleball, which is fantastic as well. So this is going to be a great year.
And the very next week, we've got MLP Columbus. It's Major League Pickleball's first event in Ohio since 2022, so great to be back there. Just an amazing event. May 1st through the 4th, it's at Pickle and Chill. 9 premier teams competing there, Dave. And we have some really special matchups to look forward to in Columbus, starting off with the host team, Columbus Sliders, taking on the Orlando Squeeze.
Yeah, host v. host, so we'll see. And what we always want to see with the Major League Pickleball season is how does a team go from great or terrible results down in Orlando. The Squeeze won't have the home crowd. The Sliders will. We both think the Sliders are going to be good. How good? I think they're going to be very good. So what do they do with that home crowd backing them up? So all those things are interesting, and that's how the storylines of a season, much like NFL, NBA, NHL, etc., flow. So this is going to be fun to see sort of who has bragging rights to the hosts right out the gate here.
And we've also got the Miami Pickleball Club taking on the Chicago Slice. Dave, it's a rematch of the Challenger level final. Of course, both teams get promoted. Miami took that one, but both teams look pretty different starting off 2025. So can't wait to see that one. I mean, it's a big one for, bragging rights. We'll see if Chicago can get some revenge for losing back in October.
Yeah, and how they approach the offseason with the trades, with the full dump of the team due to the contractual obligations from Chicago. So I can't wait, because those are the matches. If you think you're on the edge of the playoffs and you're playing another team that's also there, you got to win those.
Every match is important. Of course, MLP Columbus, the second of 10 regular season events, and it's the second week of a back-to-back as well. We'll see how these teams deal with that as well. We'll take a look at our next 3 stops on the MLP season as well. Starting in Austin, down in Texas, hosted by the Texas Ranchers. That's Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd through the 26th. Then the very next week out in Arizona, hosted by the Phoenix Flames, May 29th through June 1st. And then MLP Salt Lake City, back to Utah. Talk about a hotbed for pickleball, Utah. That's June 5th through the 8th. And so it's great to have this MLP schedule just be smack dab in the middle of the PPA season. You can just focus on your men's or women's or mixed doubles partner and just kind of fully dedicate yourself to helping your team win and representing the name on your jersey and representing the team well.
Yeah, and I think this is great for the fans to be able to follow it. And MLP Austin is going to be played Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So we will play on Memorial Day too, which is great. Let's freaking get started here.
Well, I'll listen to you, Dave. That is going to do it for this season preview edition of Inside Major League Pickleball. If you can't tell, we are thrilled that the season is set to start in just a few days. We hope you're just as excited as we are, and we will see you next week in Orlando for the first event of the season.
Peace.